Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. This video is going to be more of an informative video about my Workaway experience that I had in Hawaii about a year ago. And I'm going to structure this video as I wish I would have seen before doing Workaway, because there aren't a whole lot of videos out there, or people travel alone, some people travel with their boyfriend or girlfriend, some people travel with strangers. Or before I get into everything that happened, say that I don't regret doing Workaway at all. It was definitely an experience that I needed to have. With that being said, if I had to do it over, do Hawaii over, or just any place that I was traveling, 12 hours in a plane to, I definitely would not use Workaway or woofing unless I absolutely needed to. So I will just say that. And I will explain why in just a little bit. I had a very strong calling to go to Hawaii. Even though I went alone, I was never really alone on the trip. I was always with people, and I met so many people along the way. Even though I don't really talk to many of those people, because it's hard to keep in touch when you're so far away. Even though I don't speak to a lot of them as often as I would like to, those people have such special places in my heart, and they know the impact that they had on me. I had been wanting to go for probably like a year prior to the year that I went, which was last year during spring break. Never really was serious about it until I had a pretty hard breakup. I was going through a breakup, and I kind of just felt very lost, and it was the perfect time to book my flight and go on an adventure. Chances are, if you are watching this video, you know what Workaway is, but if you don't, to sum it up, it's pretty much just you work for a set time of hours per day, per week, in exchange for room and board. And the work can range from childcare to hard labor work. It's very broad. It's a way that a lot of people travel. It's a cheap way to travel, and it gets you places that you want to go, so it's great. My main reason for going with Workaway instead of just, booking my flight and maybe staying in like a cheap hotel, or I didn't want to go there with absolutely no direction. My main reason for using Workaway was to meet people who are staying and working at the same host place as I was, because I know it's very common for people to. And also, this is not just a Hawaii thing. It's very, very common and popular in Hawaii, but it's literally all over the world. I wanted to be with other people, because most of the time the Workaway situation is the host has multiple volunteers working and staying on the property, completing several different projects. So that was my ideal situation, and one of the other requirements that I was looking for was like a vegan permaculture type deal, because that was also very, very common. Like, if you were a Workawayer who went to like a farm, you would basically be like eating the plants that you are picking. What I ended up settling for was very not that situation. I replied to a lot of different Workaway postings in Hawaii that really appealed to me. A lot of them had already had people working or required like a month stay, or they planned out their volunteers like 6 months in advance. And mine was pretty last minute. Like, I didn't find my host until, I want to say, like through 2 or 3 months before I actually went there. Now, I want to say, if you are, that was like a big something that I should have not done. I should have planned it more in advance, because that's what the hosts ultimately do. But I was very grateful that this lady responded to me and took me in as her volunteer. So of this lady stated that she was vegan, and which she was not. She called herself vegan, and that's not a big deal at all, because she was like very aware of veganism and very accepting of it, and was pretty health conscious herself, but just I'm not really sure why she called herself vegan. I saw that, and I saw that she only hosts one person at a time, and you know, she's older, so you know, old people tend to be like obviously not as relatable. So I was kind of put off by that, but she did have vegan in her bio, so I was like, well, she is vegan, she's health conscious, her place looks really nice, and it's a way for me to get to Hawaii and have at least one connection, if anything. Because I was going into it with 0 connections, and I came out with like so many. Like, if I were to go back to Hawaii, I wouldn't need to do Workaway, I wouldn't need to stay in a hostel even. Like, I met so many people that became family. The aloha spirit is just like something that I can't even explain. Just people are so different there. I stayed there for 2 weeks. The type of work that I was doing was very miscellaneous, mostly picking weeds. Also, I should mention that part of the deal that we had originally agreed upon was that I would work for her the first week, because she taught, she had her own business. She taught a music school that was in her house. She was going on spring break for the 2nd week, so she said that I would go and do like my work for the first week. She would kind of direct me and, you know, where everything's at and all that stuff, make sure I was good, settled in. And then the next week she was going to Kauai, which is another Hawaiian island, for her spring break, and I would be house sitting for her. She did have 5 cats. She needed someone to obviously take care of feed all her cats and stuff like that, and watch her house. She didn't end up leaving and going on spring break, which again, not a big deal at all. A little bit of a discrepancy. The arrangement was I worked 5 days a week for 4 hours in the morning. And sometimes, like, some of the days where I would cook dinner, I would only work 3 hours in the morning, and then my last hour would be around dinner time cooking. So I like cleaned her windows, cleaned out her refrigerator, dusting stuff. I moved like rocks out of her, like lava rocks that were stuck in the grass. I like moved them with a wheelbarrow to another location, which I felt like that was kind of weird. Took me to the farmer's market one day and like let me pick out a whole bunch of stuff. Oh yeah, and I cooked also. I did cook dinner a couple nights. So yeah, I did that too. So we went to the farmer's market and picked out some food for the time that I was gonna stay there for the next couple days, and that was cool. But she didn't take me to the farmer's market when she went the other times. Did introduce me to her other music friend who was a piano tuner. and he was 60 years old, I think, when I met him. Coolest person I've ever met in my life. Like, he was such a free spirit and just so easygoing, adventurous, amazing person. We had so much fun together. He introduced me to more people, and we did like a weekend camping beach adventure. We went on, oh my gosh, just so many adventures. Oh, by the way, she gave me a bike for transportation. The bike ride to town was pretty long. I only made that trek like 1 or 2 times, and then I made like connections with people who would like come pick me up after my work was done, and we would just do that. So I didn't use the bike a whole lot, but that was really cool that she offered that as a means of transportation. And she did pick me up one time from the bus, because I had to take the bus from Kona to oh no, it wasn't Kona, Pahoa. I had to take a bus from Pahoa to Hilo, and she picked me up from the bus stop, which was also very nice of her. Just weigh out the accommodations and see what is going to be worth it for you. There was a few odd things that happened despite all of the good things that happened. She was an incredibly sweet lady, but there was some odd things that did happen that I feel like are worth mentioning. I went out one night, picked up by a few friends. I wasn't anticipating being out so late, but the drive that it took to get to the destination we were going, I literally thought that it was like right by her place, but it was kind of like, it was like a half-hour drive away. So we went to this tree house that one of the friends was renting off of Airbnb. We had like this tree house party, but it was like at night after all my work was done and everything, and it was like, I think the 3rd or 2nd day there. There was no service there. It was like in the middle of nowhere. They were taking me back home. It was like the early hours of the morning. It was, I gotta get back because I have to do work. I have to complete my 4 hours of work in the morning because I'm like, you know, doing this whole Workaway thing. And they're like, okay, let me drive you back. So when I got back, into town, my phone got service again, and I got a text from her, and I was like, where are you? And I don't remember exactly what it said, but it was like a couple texts, like, please text me back so I know that you're safe and you're okay and stuff like that, which I totally understand where she was coming from. But I told her I was leaving. I told her that where the part of the island that I was going to be at, that we were going to a tree house, and, you know, I'm not really sure when I'm gonna be home, so don't worry about me, I'm fine. I saw that her light was on. I was like, that's weird, why isn't she sleeping? And so I got in, and then I was in the kitchen getting some food, and she came in and she was like, oh, it's my long lost daughter. I was like, hey, like, what? It's like, I'm so glad you're safe. I was so worried about you. I couldn't sleep. And I was like, oh, please don't worry about me. Like, I'm fine. I can totally take care of myself. Like, I'm an adult. I'm 18. I'm not your responsibility. So just, seriously, don't worry about me. And that was pretty much that. After that, she was like, cool. I think she really wanted someone there to talk to and to have dinner with her, which I did have dinner a handful of times, but also I would leave like right after some of the days. I kind of left right after my work was done. And that's what her friend told me too. He said, you know, I don't know why she makes the volunteers do, like, you know, essentially busy work and stuff like that, which I didn't mind. I don't mind picking weeds. I don't mind gardening. I'm paying my way, and that was whatever she wanted me to do, whatever. Like, I don't care. Because I signed up for it, so, like, what do I care? But he was like, I wish she wouldn't make her volunteers do that when all she really wants is just somebody there to keep her company. And I was like, that makes so much sense now because of just kind of the way she was acting. I feel like that almost created a little bit of hostility within her. So by the last day I was there, she made me do my 4 hours, which for the majority of the portion where I was working in the morning, it was raining and she was off doing errands. Like she wasn't at the house, which she normally would stay home like pretty much all day. That was another thing. Like there was some of the time where she would just like watch me work, like watch me move rocks and wash windows and weed and things like that, which is fine, like if you want to watch me and correct me when I don't do things right, but it did get a little bit weird. On the last day, she came back from her errands and I was done with my work, and she said, you did not, it was, I had to like dust the walls or something, like it was the cobwebs. So I was supposed to dust the cobwebs off and then wash the walls. She said, you did not do this properly. If you were really a true, genuine person, you would do the work over again and work 4 more hours. And I was like, story short, I was basically just like, no, like I did do the work, and I'm not going to work 8 hours today. It's my last day and I want to say goodbye to all of these wonderful, amazing people that I met. She was supposed to take me to the airport that night to catch my flight, and she said, can you have one of your friends take you tonight to the airport? I'm not feeling like it. I think she said something like, I'm not feeling up to it, or I don't feel like it, or something. And I said, yeah, I mean, I can ask. I did have a friend take me, which, I mean, I would rather have had a friend take me than her. It was weird how, like, she just, like, left me stranded like that almost. Like, I don't know, it was kind of weird. Regardless, I would have gotten an Uber or something if worst came to worst, so it wasn't the biggest deal in the world. Really, I feel really, really bad that I burned that bridge. And I expressed my, concern with my friends that I had met, and even her friend that she introduced me to. They were like, girl, like, just don't worry about it. You didn't do anything wrong. It sucks. I didn't want to be that person, but if she wanted me there to keep her company and to have someone to talk to and have dinner with and stuff like that, I could have been that person if she would have communicated that to me. But I thought that I was just there to do my work and then go do whatever I wanted. Like, I had no idea that she wanted me to stay there and hang out with her, which I totally could have. I would have had no problem with, like, we did have some really good conversation and we did connect pretty well. We got along until pretty much the last day. And I've heard a lot of, like, of that similar thing happening, like with Workaway, where people are promised accommodations or certain circumstances or situational things, and they get there and it's like a completely different ball game than they anticipated. And I've also heard really great things about it, so it could go both ways. But if I had to do it over, I wouldn't use Workaway and I would just stay in a hostel for $12 a night. And you get more time out of your stay that way, because I was working for the majority of the time that I was in Hawaii. Regardless, I did have fun working while I was in Hawaii. Like, I'm in Hawaii. What do I have to complain about? Even if I am working, I don't care. But to travel all that way, a limited amount of time there also, I think it's a lot more, it's a lot more impactful to just stay in a hostel. I miss Hawaii a lot. I feel like that trip impacted me so deeply. I hope to go back soon. I hope you guys liked it, and if you want to know a little bit more about the Hawaii Workaway experience, You can comment on this video, or my DMs are always open on Instagram. I'll see you guys in the next one.